This is a critique of DeHaven-Smith's What Jesus Says to Public Administration through the eyes of Maslow, a theory of human motivation. DeHaven-Smith advocates that Jesus is ushering in a new kingdom founded on love and holiness, which will grow, and the kingdoms of those who judge will collapse. DeHaven-Smith therefore reasons that the public administrators of our times must understand their role in ushering in this kingdom of God, and that their role is to become less a discipline and a profession and more a social and political movement who will confront those in power and hold them accountable to a higher, more spiritual power under the two greatest commandments, love of God and neighbor. What DeHaven ignores are two critical obligations of a public administrator. And you can't move from being a profession to a movement unless these two critical obligations are met. And the first one being that the public administrator needs to be a master of his profession through study and understanding, to at least know his complex field and be that social police that DeHaven-Smith wants him to be. And second, the understanding public administrators need to understand the hierarchy of human motivation in order to motivate the people of the kingdom to this higher order of love and holiness. So on the first principle of the public administration to be the master of his profession through study and understanding, we look at Jesus' life, and he was an avid studier of the scriptures. In his youth, his parents found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions, and all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers, said Luke. DeHaven-Smith, his new administration or administrator must be the master of his realm. He must be an avid study of academia in all facets and become the master of his profession. And only by doing so will he become the sound reason of voice and accountability to those who are in power. And that will then bring reason and love and holiness to the world. The second policy or understanding that DeHaven missed in his essay was understanding the hierarchy of human motivation. This hierarchy of needs, there is a hierarchy of needs that motivates people, and the public administrator who understands this concept will be in the advantage when dealing with the foibles of humankind. Jesus understood this hierarchy of needs when he fed the 5,000 hungry multitudes with only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. The most basic or survival needs, such as our physiological needs and our safety needs, are at the bottom of this hierarchy ladder, and it must be satisfied first. Once met, these needs no longer becomes a motivational factor, and a higher order in motivation to fulfill more self-actualization needs, such as love, becomes a higher order, which is what Jesus' 2 commandments indicates, that we need to only live on the principle of loving God and loving the neighbor, and that should be sufficient, a higher order for us to conduct our lives and to rule. DeHaven-Smith's teaching of Jesus' ideal society is well-intentioned, but limited. He ignores one of God's main objectives for his children: be therefore perfect, even as your Father, which is in heaven, is perfect. Public administration is not a movement, it's a profession that requires the administrator to be an avid study of science and laws by which man and God are bound. And more importantly, public administrators need to understand that the hierarchy of human motivation in order to understand those who in power and how to advocate for them to be accountable. Public administration can be expected when all the lower level basic needs are met, and we are looking at the higher order of motivation. Public administration can then be expected to produce the fullest and healthiest creativeness in ushering in that kingdom of God and becoming more like the Father that DeHaven-Smith teaches of Jesus' ideal society.